Hello, beautiful souls. Reverend Chris, your favorite non-denominational ordained minister from Detroit, representing with my hood. I am talking to you today about wonderful, beautiful Passover, the wonderful Jewish tradition. It's outlined in our Bible in Exodus 12, chapter 12. I'm using my Grandma Boo Boo's King James Bible to read from today for you, and your assignment is to learn about Passover by reading Exodus chapter 12 fully. It's not really that long. All right, so I just wanted to explain a little bit about Passover and do a teaching this week. I actually asked 3 of my Jewish friends a little more information. Unfortunately, even though Passover is mentioned in the Bible and has to do with Moses, it's not a big teaching in either the Catholic faith, Free Methodist faith, Protestant faith, or any of the religions I've studied or gone to church to most of my life. So it's glossed over very briefly, but not really fully explained. When I talked to my friend Mark, he said, well, haven't you watched the movie The 10 Commandments with Charlton Heston? They really explained it very well in that movie, and I totally didn't even make that connection. So I would suggest, if you haven't seen The 10 Commandments, to rent it or find it online, because it does explain much of the beginning of the Bible into other parts of the Bible. And usually they do play it in my neck of the woods in Detroit area around Easter time. So that's when most people watch it. Okay, so my husband's grandpa Sam, who was the love of my husband's grandma Amy, passed away, I believe in 2004 or 5. It's kind of sad, I don't remember now, it's been so long, but he was Jewish. He was a wonderful professor of English at Wayne State University before he retired. He died at the age of 96, and he was from Boston, Massachusetts. He was a beautiful example of a really devout Jew. He taught me a lot. Him and also Mrs. Lowenthal of Southfield, Michigan. I had the privilege of, when I was younger, cleaning houses, cleaning her beautiful home, and she taught me a lot about her Jewish faith and traditions. And like I said, I have friends now who are also Jewish, and I believe it's one of the most beautiful traditional religious, I don't know even how to say it, organized religions. Just of all of their rituals are just beautiful. So anyway, Grandpa Sam told me all about Passover when before I was even pregnant with my daughter Val. So probably in like 2002 or 2003, he told me about how, the Hebrew slaves were freed, and they all painted, red marks on their doors, so when God crossed over all of Egypt, they would be spared, and the evil Egyptians, the bad ones, would be killed. And it was a celebration of freedom. And he explained it to me really well back then, and I never thought anything about it until now. I'm doing these teachings and these vlogs online, and I think it's really important for me to take everything everyone's told me that's practice these religious ceremonies and these religious holidays, and honor them, and also learn for myself. So basically this year our Passover is from sundown Friday, April 22nd, so that was yesterday. I'm filming this on Saturday, through the 30th of next Saturday, so always about 1 week. I guess it's give or take within 7 days. It does change every year just a little bit, and it's called in some books, or if you look online, the Festival of Freedom. So for the whole week, the Jewish people are celebrating the freedom of the Hebrew slaves. For those who don't know, I don't know like what background everyone is that watches these. Hebrew and Jewish are kind of interchangeable in all of the scriptures. So some people say they're of Hebrew faith, some people say they're of Jewish faith. It's really the same thing. And for those who are Christians like myself that proclaim Christ died for their sins and saved us from our sins, Jesus was also a Hebrew or a Jew, and they are called the chosen people, and Jesus was obviously the chosen people. And I believe unfortunately throughout many times in history, the poor Hebrew people have been persecuted, and this is one of the times that's really documented well, is that they were slaves in Egypt and Israel. So okay, so basically, the whole book of Exodus, chapter 12, tells about what Passover is, and it's also, I want to let everyone know who doesn't know anything about the Jewish faith, the first 5 books of the Bible are called the Torah, and the Jewish faith studies the Torah. So we have a lot of the same scriptures that we use in the religion. So that's what I keep telling everyone, that all religion is kind of the same. There's one God. We all have a lot of the same beliefs, a lot of the same scriptures. It's true with almost every faith. So you'll see that there's more similarities than not, and that we're all one. Okay, so Jesus also died just after Passover at that time. They were celebrating it that week that he died. So I just wanted to throw that in there. Moses is a big part of our Passover. We're celebrating that God and the angels passed over Egypt. That's why it's called Passover. So let me just read the main scriptures to you from Exodus 12, and hopefully it helps explain a little bit more. And then all this week, Jewish people are celebrating with special meals after sundown, and practicing their other beliefs usually after sundown. But you know, they have a lot of different really neat, depending on what type of faith or what type of sect that they are from, some really neat traditions that they do at this time, because it's a very special time. So all right, so we're in Exodus 12, and the Lord keeps talking to Moses throughout Exodus. Okay, Moses is like the chosen leader of the crew. So on chapter 12:1 says, "And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months, and shall be the first month of the year to you." So he's saying, you know, now that everybody's free, we're gonna start over again. All right, so then we're going to number 3. The Lord's telling Moses to talk to the Pharaoh, and then he's saying that to let everyone know that they need to get a male lamb in their household. And then we skip to, I'm making this a little shorter for time's sake. We skip to chapter 4. So they keep the lamb for 14 days, and then they're going to kill the lamb. This is like a sacrifice for the Lord, or for, you know, our God. And it says in chapter 7, "And they shall take the blood," so of the lamb, "strike it on 2 side posts in the upper door posts of the houses, wherein they shall eat it." So basically God's saying, tell all of the Jewish people, tell all of the Hebrew people to get a male lamb that's really young, let it age for about 14 days, kill the lamb as a sacrifice, put the blood of the lamb on the door and the posts of the door, and that signifies that that's a household of Jewish faith. Okay, so it's pretty cool right now. All right, so then 8, "And they shall eat the flesh in the night, roast with fire and unleavened bread with bitter herbs, and shall eat it." So according to my friend Mark and a couple of other friends, they do this 2-night dinner. They do it after midnight or just after sundown in some people's households here in Michigan, and they eat just the lamb and the special bread because that's what they ate back then, and I think that's really beautiful. And it says kind of how to prepare it in number 9, "Do not eat it raw nor sodden in water, but roast with fire." Okay, so we're going on. And then it says number 10, "And ye shall let nothing of it remain in the morning." So we have to finish the whole meal as a sacrifice. 10 says, "And thus we shall eat it okay, it tells all the parts of the lamb. And then it says, "Then thou shalt eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover," in number 11. So eat it quickly. Get your blood on the door so we can signify this is a Jewish house, because it says number 12, and this is God talking, "For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, will smite all firstborn in the land of Egypt, both men of the beast, and against the gods of Egypt I shall execute judgment. I am the Lord." So he's saying because these Egyptian people that were not Jewish were so cruel and evil to the Jews, now they're going to pay, and he wants everybody to mark their doors that are Jewish so they're not taken in this. Okay, so number 13, "And the blood shall be to you for a token upon houses that ye are, and when I see the blood I will pass over you." So that's why it's called Passover, this beautiful holiday we're studying right now and that we're celebrating this week. So we shall pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you and destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt. So 14 says, and this day will be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast of the Lord throughout your generations, and ye shall keep the feast of ordinance forever. So that is still where we're at, thousands of years later, after Christ was even born. This was way before Christ was born, people. This is Moses. So we're still doing this tradition, which is amazing. Number 15, 7 days ye shall eat unleavened bread, even the first day, and ye shall put away leavened bread out of your houses. For whoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, your soul shall be cut from Israel. Okay, so it's given more instruction about how to do the spiritual practice of this holiday in the 7th day, or 7 days, excuse me. So they go on, they tell everybody, and basically the lamb or the killing of the lamb kind of signifies like the end of this, slavery for the Hebrew people. And then if you read more in the Bible, Moses leads for 40 years into the desert all of the Hebrew people that are free, and so they go to the promised land, and that's a whole other story. So I hope this helped explain what Passover is. If you have Jewish friends or meet Jewish acquaintances anywhere in your life, at work, school, ask them what it means to them. Tell them that you are just learning about the Bible and about Moses and the book of Exodus, and you want to understand more about their faith. I hope everyone has a wonderful Passover week. I hope everyone is blessed and safe. And I am so thankful and grateful for everyone that watches these. I hope you always learn something. You can always donate to me for $1 or more on patreon.com. I'll put a link below. You can email me for free prayer at freeprayerlove@aol.com. Have a beautiful week.